Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Ahmedabad Management Association, I welcome all of you for this enriching session, Sheroes of Business. So this is interesting, right? The title itself. It is Sheroes of Business, a conversation with the new age women entrepreneurs. So without wasting much time, as a ritual, I'll want to do a brief introduction of our speakers. Our first speaker, Ms. Priyanshi Patel. She has been the director of an internationally recognized company, the experience of which has helped her achieve the Women Entrepreneur of the Year award by Globe Oil in 2013. She's the managing trustee of Karma Foundation, which aims to empower youth and maximize their potential. For her efforts and initiatives, she's been given the highest state honor, Glory of Gujarat, and recently given the prestigious title of Bharat Ki Lakshmi by the Government of India. She also founded Elixir, a brand of cold-pressed oils that exemplifies her entrepreneurial spirit and commitment to quality. Elixir is considered as one of the pioneers of niche cold-pressed oil brands in the country. She is credited with being the first female president of Entrepreneurs Organization of Gujarat chapter and becoming area director in 2019-20. She's been the first female chairperson of the youth wing of the Gujarat Chamber of Commerce and Industry. In addition to her entrepreneurial pursuits, Priyanshi is gifted NFT artist, displaying her creativity and innovation through paintings and poems. So I'll welcome Priyanshi. The next speaker with us, Ms. Kanchi Patel. She's the director of Abzo Motors Private Limited. She's a philomath and an explorer. Ms. Kanchi sowed the seeds for Abzo Motors back in 2018. Her curious nature and love for the environment paved the path at Abzo for electric bikes. Her determination led to manufacturing bikes which are eco-friendly, stylish, and provide a comfortable mode of commute. So let's welcome Ms. Kanchi Patel. Our third speaker, Ms. Anushri Malu, is the co-founder of Nut Job. She started her journey of being an entrepreneur along with her sister Ananya when they launched Nut Job, a male intimate hygiene and grooming company. They made a mission to revolutionize the way men take care of their intimate hygiene through Nut Job. They wanted to make their way into every Indian household, eliminating the shame of using products catering to intimate hygiene. As skilled as she is, Anushri has a massive 5 years of experience in operations, travel, marketing, logistics, and finance. She presently heads the departments of finance and logistics at Nut Job. So we'll welcome Anushri. And obviously, our moderator for the evening, Mr. Sanjay Chakrabarti. So I'd like to welcome him as well. I think over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. No? Meet audible? Okay. So we should welcome the speakers with a big round of applause. Yeah. So as Khushi was reading out, I also had scripted something to speak about you all, right? Okay, so welcome to the session and we are conducting this in the land of entrepreneurs. I can very well mention a quote by Helen Keller. She says life is either daring adventure or nothing at all. And it goes very well with the women entrepreneurs today we have here. Women achievement in this time and age are exceptional and many of them making groundbreaking, yeah?
I want the volume to be louder.
Louder? Yes. Okay. I will do it. Hello, hello. Now? Okay. Now I'm clear. So do I repeat? Okay. Okay, women achievement in this time and age are exceptional, and many of anything? Okay. So as like elsewhere in the world, even in India, women-led businesses have been providing a great strength to the economy. This is reaffirmed by the Union Minister of MSME, who stated that women entrepreneurs in India play a significant role in advancing the economic growth of the country, and the women-owned business are now growing significantly. According to the report of Bain & Company, nearly 20% of the enterprise in India are owned by women. While the country is steering towards transforming its economic and social development status through women-owned businesses, several women dynamos have ascended the fame with their stellar entrepreneurship skills. Image consulting, e-commerce, science, entertainment, just few industries which Indian women entrepreneurs have been smashing glass ceilings. As Michelle Ruse, she is an entrepreneur and a celebrity TV anchor, and I like her quote, which says, if people are doubting how far you can, so go far that you can't hear them anymore. Yeah? So that is what Indian women entrepreneurs have done. The history of courageous female entrepreneurs in India, in fact, started quietly early with Kalpana Saroj, known in India's first female entrepreneurs and original slumdog millionaire. Kalpana bought the distressed asset of Kamani Tubes company and steered the company back to the profitability back in 2001. Another applauding example which I often read is about Malavika Hegde, who turned around and saved Cafe Coffee Day by having a depth of 7,000 crore after husband Siddharth's death. Many people feared that CCD would go out of business. However, the company was saved by Malavika Hegde. You might have all heard about this inspiring story. Earlier for women, there were only 3 Ks. You know, in old days, there were only 3 Ks for women: kitchen, kids, and knitting. After that, it came powder, papad, and pickles. But now, there is many E's added to women: electricity, electronics, energy, engineering, entrepreneurship, etc., etc., and etc. So, Indian women have undergone a long way. Example, you know, I will just give an example. I recently met an entrepreneur, and the name of the company was Windot. So surprisingly, I asked, what's the meaning of Windot? He says, people write Rahul and Sons, right? Jatin and Sons. So I am Vinay and I have 2 daughters. So I named the company Windot. Yeah, so this is changing. So he named it as Windot. And as Oprah Winfrey says, I was once afraid of people saying, who does she think she is? Now I have courage to stand and say, this is who I am, right? So today in this forum, I have been very fortunate to have 3 young, dynamic women entrepreneurs who made their mark and presence in this world. We are sitting here and I can proudly say that today I am in a healthy company. Why? Because I got Prayanshi with healthy oil, right? I got Anushri who takes care of hygiene, which is healthy, right? And Kanchi, who is making eco-friendly products, which is healthy to the environment, right? So today I have got certain set of questions which I'll pose to them, and after that I'll be opening the floor for questions with a request. There will be no questions about no turnover, no profit margin, raw material sourcing, complaints and personal questions. Yeah. So we start with a big round of applause. Yeah. So I'll ask a very generic question starting from Anushri, that let us know about your professional journey.
So Nut Job is the idea germinated during COVID when Ananya and I were stuck because we didn't couldn't go to work and so on. So it just the idea came out from a very healthy family discussion where we were sitting with our fathers and just a conversation that how females or girls have been educated about their intimate hygiene since school. As in, where you are at the age of 12, 13, where you are about to get your periods, your education, your school has taught you, how important it is. And the lack of awareness we thought that there is for male intimate hygiene, because we could not see any products available in the market to cater sort. Looking at the products available for the female intimate hygiene, there were TVC ads available for We Wash, Clean and Dry. We all know the brands. But if going back to 3-4 years or 5 years back, there were no such brands. People didn't know the brands. Also, there were products catering to intimate hygiene. So the question arose, and we researched. So we thought that, US and Europe markets, they have brand awareness, they have products available, people are using it, people are aware about the thing. But what about in India? So we saw the market gap, and we saw that it's a huge opportunity to, just enter a segment like this, where it's still a taboo to talk about intimate hygiene in public, where you still get the sanitary pads wrapped in a newspaper or a black polythene. So, to cater those customers to, just aware them that, why intimate hygiene is important for females as well as for males. It's the same thing. So it just came, and we researched, then we thought like, let's just try the market. Let's get, we found our right manufacturer. It was a 1-year process. So 21 is the time we started Nutjob. So 2020 se leke 2021 tak ke, it was a whole year process to, develop the products and see how it works. And our fathers were our guinea pigs. So we got the samples made, we asked them to use it, and whatever changes needed. So we just launched, we tested the market, and we have a very parallel journey with Shark Tank India appearing on season 1. So we thought, let's just try, let's see what, we like just try to just apply. So we went, and there's a huge difference in, the appreciation or the, that mark in the market. Because earlier when we started, when we were trying to test the market, people were laughing about it, or people were saying, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money. Just go back to your original jobs, or whatever business you want to do, just do it. Plus, we got the questions because two females were starting something like this. We got a question from, surrounding that, you are at a marriageable age. How will, people will address, like, how will your families talk about that ye do ladkiyan kya kar rahi hai? So it was still a very, embarrassing or very, that topic that, our mothers they were very skeptical about it, that whether they should allow us to do something like that. But our fathers stood by us. They said, okay, just go. If you want to try, go for it. And I consider that as a mother's concern, because they were just, the thought process of a society, understanding like how, females will, like how society will take, like, 2 girls are coming out and talking about male intimate hygiene. So yeah, the story happens, and Shark Tank India gave us a very big validation and recognition in this market, that people were now okay to talk about it, and they felt it's a normal thing now. So I think the lack of awareness was only there because the lack of education was there. Yeah. Because, since at the age where, you hit up puberty, you have to get educated about, your certain habits of, you keeping your intimate hygiene. So it's as important as for females. So this is why we started Nutjob, and the journey has been a great journey. We have learned so much.
Great, and very inspiring.
Yeah, I feel so.
Yeah, great. So Priyanshi, what about you? Yeah.
So first of all, thank you for having me here. We were just discussing that as a child I've been in one of those chairs, and I've got inspired from whatever happened here. So, now being right here, I believe that there's heavy weight on my shoulders in order to deliver a message, something that can become transformational to someone right here. So my journey, I begin most of my things with a mention of my father, because he's been one of those most inspiring figures in my life. So when we were young, he used to always say that business and doing anything with entrepreneurship flows in our DNA. And that's what I came to realize as I grew up, that, thinking about business, new industries, what's the need of the customer, how can we have a larger impact, all of it just came to me. Every time that I'd look at a problem, the entrepreneur in me would jump in. We're not just talking about businesses and products, commodities. I look at entrepreneurship and my professional journey as change maker in all areas and aspects of life. So every time there's a problem, it's like I would use the entrepreneurial mindset in order to try and come up with a solution. How can this be made better? So my journey began in terms of thinking and strategizing when I was very young, I think about 7th, 8th grade, wherein I thought of starting dancing and art class for kids around. And my father's like, we can't do this. And, I shared it with a friend, and she started it, and it was a hit in the entire area. And that's what I was like, I knew that this was the need. And I got multiple validations as I grew up. But my first professional experience was I landed back after studying, and straight from the airport, I walk into our conference room. And we're sitting with Louis Treffis, which is one of the world's largest agri-trading commodity players. And we're sitting, and I'm talking to them about the entire JV with the company. And that was, it's like, my first experience. My father did not think of us as, that we need to be groomed. He's like, of course, you guys are trained from day one. As soon as you're out of the school, it's like, let's just get right into the action of it. So from there, I began my journey, wherein my first significant thing was starting off a company in Singapore, wherein we were mostly like a national company with a strong regional presence. And I felt that it was very important for us to have an international impact, to be there, to be seen around with the largest players of the industry. So my first large initiative was being in Singapore, talking and networking with the topmost people of the industry in the palm oil sector. And it was the experience of a lifetime, wherein I got the support and encouragement of my family as well, because for months I would be in those regions, being in the absolute palm plantations, being there on dust bikes and seeing everything, understanding from the very roots of how the entire process is done. So that was one of the most beautiful experience of my career, where I got an absolute free hand in order to experiment, to see, to innovate. And that earned the company like a huge fame, where my strongest or my most memorable achievement, more than any awards, has been when my father called me and said that I've ran this company for the last 15 years. And today, it's like wherever I pass my card in an international conference, everyone's saying that, oh, NK Proteins, Priyanshi Patel, who are you? So my father's like, it has been a privilege to be recognized as your father. And I think whatever else I've done in my journey, that still stands as my biggest professional achievement, to be able to, have made such an important name and message of the company across. So that happened for a couple of years, wherein I was more focused on international business, development, marketing. Post that, I traveled quite a lot. And we started seeing change in trends in terms of how people consume, how people eat. So when we do our study of how oils will go, we don't look at just the oil industry in terms of what's going to happen for the next few years. I've studied very, very deeply. So I've dabbled into understanding how 2045 is going to look like. How are people going to eat? How are they going to consume? And with those studying the entire trends of how the world is going to evolve, we started understanding that things will change completely in the years to come. So we initiated an entirely different way of thinking about oils and people eating fats per se in the entire category. And that's when we were one of those first ones to begin talking about branded cold press oils. So when we began studying and researching in 2016, there was no one who'd even heard of the entire concept in terms of will this be possible? The industry was practically laughing at us that what's going on here. Versus today, it's like we're seeing, and that's what we had projected, that it's going to mushroom at a speed that no one had imagined in the entire industry. And today, every other day, we are seeing a new cold press oil brand being born in each and every state. So that's been the entire journey of not just looking at a product or a company, but being able to see how an entrepreneurial or a business mindset has the ability to transform the world for good. So that's been the journey and still ongoing.
Great. Yeah, Kanchi, what about you?
So I started my journey as a dentist. I studied dentistry. I graduated 2019. But when I was in dentistry, about like in second year, I knew that, okay, I'm not going to pursue my career in dentistry. So I went home, I told my dad, I was like, see, this is not happening. I'll finish the degree because now I'm already in. I'm going to have to get done with this. But this is not, I'm not going to practice after I am done with this. Maybe I can do a business involved in dentistry or something, but I won't be able to practice. So he was like, yeah, no worries, but just tell me your 5-year plan. So I remember this one time I was driving with my dad somewhere and he just asked me like, what do you want to do? Like, what's your 5-year plan? And I was like, I don't know what I'll do, but all I know is that I'm going to be in business. I'm going to do business. I want to become like you. I want to do something big and something innovative. And he just gave me a smile. He was like, yeah, you're on the right path. You have a goal at least. So after college, I started working with my dad at Trio Elevators. We manufacture elevators and escalators in Gujarat. I started my journey there from interning with my dad. I started assisting our operations manager. Then I went up to procurement planning and I learned how the whole production and planning works, marketing works. I even worked a few months in the sales, and I had my whole internship experience of business with my dad at Trio. And then we were just talking about new business ideas, and we were just one day brainstorming, and we were talking about where the future is going, where the world is going, and we stumbled upon the electric vehicle business, and it just struck us that, we're already in the business of, vertical transportation. It's an electrical machine, so why not the horizontal as well? We can do both. We already have the technology, and we already have the manufacturing capacity. We just have to put our brains together and work it out. And so early 2019, we established Abzo. And we started our R&D since 2018, and we launched 2023. Yeah.
Oh, great. Now, being a brand person, I am always curious about knowing why did you name it Abzo and why did you name it at Olixir? So, first, yeah.
So, Abzo, it's actually an amalgamation of my 2 pet dogs' names.
Oh.
So it's April and Enzo. So our thought process was, like everyone names their company from their mother's name, children's name. So it's like, why not my dogs? They are more dear to me than anyone. So we named it after my dogs, plus they've always been very lucky for me.
Wow. And what about you?
So with us, we had experimented in 2011-12 with the entire premium category using our local brand name, Tirupati Viva, which was extra virgin and virgin olive oil. So we were, again, one of those first in the States to have such a wide campaign. And for us, from whatever research that we got and whatever reception that we got of our oils during those times, we realized that a brand which is very strong as a commodity, as a mass market brand, did not have that same kind of reception when we spoke about a premium category. So when we were trying to experiment with an innovative category as such, we knew that we did not want to put in Tirupati's name, as during those times, again, nobody had heard of cold press. So this was like outright, what are you trying to do? What is this thing called cold press? So when things were so uncertain, we did not want to use our mass brand name. But along with that, our vision was very different. So what we wanted to do as this brand was, Elixir is the elixir of oil. So we were not just talking about cottonseed oil or soybean oils. So the range is much, much larger. So we're talking about this brand will become the elixir of anything that has to do with oils. So we've increased our entire division. It's like we're not just doing cooking oils, edible oils, as the family business is involved. We've also started wellness oil. So we're talking about chakra alignment oil. We're also talking about beauty oil. So we've got the top quality and the best available oils, be it for your hair, for your skin, and we're still experimenting in terms of what more can be done using even nanotechnology. So this entire brand perception is, we already have a very strong existing mass brand, which is very, very popular. But how do we also set it apart with a very niche category that we're trying to put in, and how both can benefit with one another? And today we are seeing that in terms of how Tirupati is also getting a lot of extra mileage because of this category of very premium oils that is there in the market.
They're leveraging each other.
Yes,
Both of them.
yes.
Okay. On the contrary to what Anushri might have started business, I have this question to both of you. You have started your business with your father's business, which was already there. So you might have faced some challenges when you entered from the team which is working under your dad since so many years, and suddenly a woman comes and you have to report to her. So what are the challenges you faced? And the second question to that is that what efforts you made to overcome those challenges?
So entering as the boss's daughter is always a little
Good or bad?
a little bad, yeah. Nobody wants to listen to you. People are gonna see you as, you know, like usko kya pata hai, you know. But I didn't get that from everyone in the company. Maybe a few senior members of our company. But other than that, I've been lucky enough to have a really supportive staff who's been with me for like 4-5 years now. I've learned with them, I've grown with them, I've made mistakes alongside them, and they've always helped me go forward. But yeah, other than that, I got a little criticism from the senior members, but other than that, it was a good journey.
So now I started accepting you.
Yeah, now they have started accepting. Since the last 2 years, yes.
Okay, great. So good that you confess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Priyanshi, what about you? You might be having the same
Oh,
ambience,
yes.
atmosphere, yeah.
Yeah, so in our company, there's this beautiful thing that most of the people, senior management, they've been there for more than 20 years, 25, some of them, they've been there since the day that the company was initiated. So they've seen us as little kids. So when we enter the business also, they look at us as kids. And there was, I did do quite a lot of trial and errors, and there were a couple of times that I tried, you know, being the boss and looking at how it goes. But that kind of did not work. So then I turned the tables around and I asked them to become my mentors. So that's like a learning that I carry forward everywhere, that, you know, when you try and assert with authority, nothing gets done, versus when you try and put them in terms of a help position, that I am stuck, can you help me? Or I am not getting through most of the employees. How can you assist me in getting there? So the entire approach changed completely, where like I would reach out to them with anything that, you know, how would you tell me to do this? And then, of course, it was a longish conversation, as I had to ensure that they arrive to where I wanted them to arrive, but in a way that it looked like they have said the suggestion. And then putting it also in front of my father in such a way that, oh, no, it was his experience and we worked on it together. So it did involve a lot more of change, wherein, you know, they also did not need to be threatened with my involvement, but at the same time, I also had to make sure that my voice was heard, my work was being noticed. So attributing all the positive to the senior team members, and you know, taking some of the blame of, oh no, this was my idea, that did not work. So I think you know, a match of that helped me. But the first few years were difficult in order to establish, as I was very young and just out of college, and the company is very large, and, you know, like the people have been around for, you know, 25 years plus. So
Yeah, great. So adding to that question, I'm becoming a little curious about your journey. So adding to that, you know, you might have got a wisdom from your first generation, which was doing the business. So can you pick up 2 wisdoms which you got in business and you adopted those?
So one of the things that I've learned from my grandfather, who started Trio Elevators, he has taught me to always speak up. In any situation, he's always been like, just speak up. You never know, someone might be able to help you out, even if you are in a problem or anything, just speak up. And one more thing that I've learned from a senior team member of ours who's not with us anymore, he worked for us for about 25 years and 30 years. And I did our biggest project of Trio. I worked alongside with him. We installed 12,000 kilo elevator in SeaWorld Abu Dhabi during COVID. So we were working on the project together, and he has taught me A to Z of elevator in those 2 years. So he has been
Instrument.
really inspired. He's been really helpful for me in the whole journey when I was learning the machineries, because I don't belong to the background. So that has stuck with me, because he was the only person in the company who was teaching me as if he was teaching like a 5-year-old machines. So yeah, that stuck with me.
Yeah. What about you, Pranshi?
So I have a lot of energy and a lot of ideas. So I used to bounce off a lot of ideas to my father. And I see a lot of young people even today, they're full of ideas. And it was very hard pill to swallow during that time, but that has been a wisdom that has stayed with me forever. So the first and the topmost is ideas mean nothing. It's the implementation and how you execute, how are you putting them to life. Those are the things that mean more than who is the one who's got the idea. And the second is I've learned from observation. I've seen the men in my house, my grandfather, my father, they worked very hard. My grandfather has worked until like almost the times that he could not work medically. Till that time, he would call people from the office, he'd see them, he'd check all the accounts, not because he did not trust the people, but just to make sure that the senior most management or the people are right there, they're watching, they're involved. So that's been one of those lessons that I've learned from seeing and observing them, that when you do something, do it completely. Like there cannot be even one thing left out from your supervision that goes unnoticed.
Great. So we are getting a lot of learnings as well wisdom here on this forum, right? Anushri, I come to you. You entered a very disruptive business here, and a lot of apprehension might be in your mind, and you might be fearing a lot of things. So what were those fear and apprehension? Was there any plan B?
I think there was a time when we actually thought that we questioned that did we actually choose a right segment or a right category, because we were lacking the validation we wanted from the society, the acceptance for a brand like this. And where people, we wanted them to talk to us openly and not treating us like they're talking to two females, and the shyness, we didn't want that, because ultimately we were talking to our customers. So they still had that thing. Then we had a question, but that was not and then we always had that thing, nahi, we want to try. Even if this doesn't work, it's okay, you're just going back to what you were doing originally. So that was not changing anything. But then we thought that if we didn't pursue this, we might have a regret after seeing other brands coming in. Or if I could see, like now, if I didn't pursue Nut Job, I can see so many brands, like big brands coming in a segment like this, where they have started to cater to male intimate hygiene specifically. And they were catering to grooming, and they were catering to body wash and sort for males, but now they are trying this segment because of the awareness. So I think today we might have gotten the regret that we didn't pursue it. So I'm glad we went and we thought out of the box. We had a courage to go on a platform like this and talk about it. And we didn't care what people will come and tell us that, but we just tried. We just, it was just a chance, if you could say so. That even, if, upcoming founders are listening to me, I would just say, just go, just take the chance. You don't know where this will take you. Even if you have a second thought about the idea or about your brand, it's just, you just make sure that after 2 years, somebody who started the similar category, you should not feel, bad, or you should not regret that, shit, I got the idea 2 years back, and now this person is doing similar thing and I could do much better. So just do it.
Great. See, this is the attribute of an entrepreneur, right? So they have this attribute कि जब हारना जीतना अलग बात है पर लड़के तो देखें.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that is very important. Yeah. Very good. So Kanchi, how big is your team now? How big is your team?
My Abso team is currently about 50 employees.
15, right? So there's a lighter side. I'll ask you a question. Given a choice of choosing between two candidates who are equally well qualified and equally well suited for the job of the role of an organization, which one would you prefer, male or a female candidate? Tell me honestly, huh?
Honestly, we wouldn't judge based on gender. If that person is capable, if they're going to make a positive impact on our team and they'll help us achieve our brand's vision and goal, they are in the team, irrespective of the gender.
Okay. What about you, Priyanshi? How you take it?
So again, I resonate. It does not matter about the gender, but it matters in terms of how they're putting things forward. So no preference.
Okay. So there may be an age bias also. ये तो young लड़के हैं, बच्चे हैं, इनको क्या पता है? That age bias is also there while you recruit people.
No, because what I believe is that with different age comes different experiences and different perspectives, and when you mix them all together, it makes a really good team to work with. Because sometimes I'm too young for certain experiences in life, so I have to run to my dad and be like, okay, what do I do in this? Or I run to a senior team member of mine, okay, how do I handle this? And sometimes they need a newer perspective, so they come to the younger lot of the team. So I think a proper mix of all the ages is a good team, and experiences and perspective matters.
So did you experience any bias of such when you were in the market?
Yes, on my age, yes, because when I initially started out, I think I started working at Trio when I was 21. So as a 21-year-old, no one was taking me seriously. But yeah, as I grew up, as I made my stand in the company, I got my respect. But when I was young, it took me a while, and it took also my team members a while to have a common ground between us. Yeah.
Great. Priyanshi, you have any experience where you were discriminated because of the gender or the age?
Oh yeah, multiple times.
Oh,
I'm the
yeah.
only, very few women internationally are in this trade. The ones who are there, they're doing either operations or accounting or other roles. They're not at the top of a fair. So I've had a lot of times international dealers also look at me like, oh, you're just here for 2 years. Post that you're going to get married, you're going to have kids, and you're not going to be here anymore. So let's not talk business. I'd like to understand, where did you go to school? How is your life? And that did, I used to react as a young, hot-blooded woman, like, you're gonna see where I go. To, there were instances wherein people would not trade with me. They'd call my father. So there was one of the instances of one of the largest Malaysian palm oil company. I was sitting with the president, and he was amused by this little girl, all bubbly and, wanting to talking about taking over the world and stuff. And then I'm like, I'm going to buy 44,000 metric tons of oil. And he looks at me and he's like, yes, very nice. You will someday.
Nobody was taking it seriously.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm buying it right now. And he's like, he called my father and he was just joking with him. Oh yeah, your daughter's here. She's such a lovely girl, very bright. And do you know what? She's just talking about picking up 44,000 metric tons of oil. My father's like, very good, please talk to her. I'm sure if she's put it right there, she means it. And he put the phone down, and this is like literal change of body language. He was right there. He just put up and he's sitting, how old are you? What do you do? Are you serious about 44,000 metric tons? I'm like, yes, I am buying an entire vessel and I'm getting it right there. And he's like, do you know about the trends, etc.? And we had a complete conversation for almost an hour and a half. And then he calls my father up and he's like, are you sure? My father's like, definitely. So, it did break that bit, and that tree did get into all the talking circles that this young girl picked up 44,000 metric tons of oil. And, thankfully, we earned quite a bit from that. Otherwise, it would have been talked about in a very, very wrong way. But there have been multiple instances of age bias, gender bias, and I believe that has helped me rather than demotivate me. It helped me understand how in the world, we have to look at the larger scenario, and when someone young is right there, they have way more energy. So when I recruit, when I pick up, I love younger people right there, because one, because of age and lack of whatever, there's way more enthusiasm, there's way more excitement, and I love that freshness. Like, they're not afraid to fail, they're not afraid to experiment. The entire passion is there that yes, we can change the world. And as like we start recruiting and even interviewing older candidates, we see that that becomes much more mellower. There's some more cynicism that gets in, that yes, this is the way things work and it may not work. And I believe in massive disruptions, and I believe everything's possible. So I love a younger team who has that ability to question and doubt everything, and has that ability to say that no, this is not the world that we want to live in, and we will create another world, or we're going to create another product that can beat the way that things are happening at the moment.
Great, very inspiring, yeah. So, Anushri, I'll ask you one very interesting question. Who's professional businesswoman your, ideal?
I think professionally, if I see, then I would see, say the women in my family, because they are doing their own thing. Like my auntie is doing her own journey. She started as a designer, and she's doing her. What I learned from the women in my house is the time management. And it is very important, and getting, just dealing with the household help also, it's that, getting the right work done at the right time. So I think those implementations I use at work also, getting, appointing the right person to do the right work, just to catch like what the person has the skills, because still we are building a team. We just, our team of 10 people. So it's still a growing team. So, but just hiring and just getting, and time management. I think as an entrepreneur or as a founder, you have to do everything. I have done the office boy thing also, and I do the CEO or CFO level ka kaam also, because there are times that you literally want to sit with your accountants and understand things. Because if you don't hold a background in commerce or accounts, you have to learn for someone. You really need to sit right next to and then ask them silly questions. That, ye aapne yahan pe kyun credit kiya, ya whatever the silly questions I would have. But it's really important to, so half of my day is I'm around the staff. The day goes like that. I'm around, I'm learning how the packaging is also happening, how the orders are going on Amazon, on Flipkart, what is wrong or what is right. Or, at times I do talk to customers as well. That, they're like, are you like Anushri the founder? I'm like, yeah, I'm the founder, because you pick up the call or whatever. So they feel that, they connected and the company is listening to them, that directly. Ye nahi hai कि कोई call center वाले ने उठा लिया, they just talked and the problem might not reach to us. So we consider that. So I would say not professionally, but seeing them work, because they individually work for the house, for their own work they have started. So managing both the things, I'm learning.
Yeah. So Kanchi, who is your inspiration? We'll come to you. Yeah.
There's not any single lady, but I find every woman inspirational. Like right now I'm inspired by the two of you. But the most inspiration, I'd say my mom, because she has been she's very energetic, and she's always been very supportive of me, and she started her own boutique when me and my brother were like 4 and 5 years old, something. And she balanced the family life and her work life. She ran her own boutique for 7, 8 years. And even after she has retired, we still have people who come back to her and can you please open the boutique back, like you were really good. So I'm really inspired by her because I've grown up seeing her working in the house. I've seen her always there for us, but at the same time, she's also giving time to her own business. And that's very inspirational for me.
Great. Pranshi, I got a very interesting question for you. So there may be a lot of women now who may be entrepreneur tomorrow. So what are the tips you will give to them? Some tips which you would like to give to them, to the new generation who is going to now enter into business. So what they should take care of, and what they should go for?
Absolutely. So I used to mentor and advise a lot of startups earlier. So the ones right here who are interested, especially women wanting to start the businesses, the number one is do not be afraid. Like women are generally in our culture, they're taught to be very good girls, mellow girls, and not cause confrontations, not shake too many. So unconsciously, that is what we imbibe as women, as a young girl, that our validation is to be good girls. So of course there is a grace divinity that we need to hold overall as women, because we have special gifts, but at the same time do not be afraid of causing riots or causing issues in terms of when you go out in the workspace and want to disrupt things, that freely go out, experiment, innovate, fail as many times as you want. It's like your family, your friends, the society would come back to you and they'd laugh that what did you do? Again, go back to number one rule, do not be afraid. Go back again, much stronger, much wiser, and do something much better the next time around. So if you're willing to do something, do not be discouraged by all the inhibitions that have been fed and conditioned into you, number one. Number two is always look at the bigger and larger picture. A lot of times, most young entrepreneurs fail because they look at a very micro issue, that this is a need that we're going to cater. They've not looked at a much, much wider study. So study 10-year trends, 15-year trends, and not just, for example, as I said, when we looked at launching this oil, we did not study oils in terms of what's the demand and how it'll be after 5 years. So what we studied is what is the category that we are in. We are in the food category. So I studied very deeply that in 2045, how will people eat? What tools they will use, what is the kind of nutrition that they would have. And that's when we started seeing how, for example, protein will become a very difficult space for people to consume. So do not just look at the immediate trends and how you will exist in a very short-term scenario. Look at a much, much larger scenario, that how you're going to be relevant, how you will be an authority in that industry, in that space 15 years from now. So when we look at, for example, food, so then maybe if we would have failed in cold pressed oil, do not get discouraged, start something else, in the similar category, use your learnings, innovate, improvise. Another bit that I see is women do not get much free hand when it gets to finance. It's like a lot of VCs also, what we've seen is they're kind of skeptic. They ask way more questions to women entrepreneurs, or it's slightly more difficult. So again, all of those, there are some who get discouraged. I'd say do not get discouraged. Please use those in order to see it as much sharpening tools. So every time someone comes to you and says that this cannot be done, rather than defending, become very curious. Ask them that absolutely you're right. Can you tell me more? Why I can't do this? They'll give you better feedback. So again, for the young women who want to start, anytime anyone says no, one, please don't defend. Always become curious, ask them more questions. So you will understand how you will use all of those content to not fail, but to make a better and a bigger platform. So top 3 things, these are the ones. Be rebels, change the world for a much, much bigger and better cause.
Yeah, these are human handbook, which I'm encountering. Such tips which we are being given are useful, and you can treasure it forever. Yeah. Anushri, what about you?
Same, I think. For the tips, I think I said that, should not sit with the idea, just work on it. Because as I said, later after 2-3 years, you might regret that, I could do better. And your idea should not be on the paper for more than 6 months. Get in the market, test the market, you will fail, you will learn something at least. And then when you start again, you have something to get, you could take something from the previous failure and just implement it and do not repeat. And for women entrepreneurs, I think you will come with the baggage of expectations, because I was talking to them for the same thing, that, females come with certain expectations from the society. The society already has set certain expectations, certain boundaries, certain rules for you that, But I think we have broken the taboo. We have gone out of the box, out of our, expectations of the society. And we came out, so, I think there will be people who want to pull you down. It's just you need to believe in yourself, believe in your idea. That, no, I think I can, bring a change in the society, or, I can do something better. And just don't, question yourself if somebody is coming and telling you that, you should consider that you really want to do this, or you really want to pursue something or not. It's just try.
Kanchi, you want to add something? What not and what yes?
I feel like they've covered almost all of it, so I'll keep it short. But I'd say I'd emphasize on the power of resilience. Don't be shy, speak up, fall down, get back up again. And there's one of my favorite movies, Finding Nemo. There's a dialogue that goes, "Just keep swimming." So that's something that's always stuck with me since I was a kid. Like, whatever happens, just keep swimming. You'll get to the other end and you'll finally reach home.
Great. So before we come to the audience, I got 2 more questions to go. Is that being a very young person, you would surely have a lot of personal aspirations. So how do you balance your work and individual life, being an entrepreneur?
I think, we still at an age where the company is growing, is just 2 years in the market. So I think there's no play, it's just all work right now. Because, and balancing, I think I would do, at work only we try to do certain activities with staff, and I just feel, that makes us strong, like it brings more, because this is this bundle of people, just 10 of us. So, it's like whole day you, like just a circle sitting and working together. And I think we keep on doing activities, and that is a play for me, that, like a staff activity happening, or we do potlucks a lot. That every Friday somebody has to get something for the whole office and we'll eat together. And the staff actually says that, आप boss जैसे लगते ही नहीं हो. So that feeling makes you, they are close to you and they treat you as a colleague and as a friend, and not just, they are my bosses and, we cannot just have any fun with them, or, because Ananya and I are the youngest at work. Everybody working with us are older to us. So
don't you think there are flip side also?
I don't think, because they have never seen us as bosses. We have never treated them that, when we will not sit with you, or we will not, we have our own fun. So at a younger age, when you are learning, like both of us are learning. So, you cannot be superior to anybody that, haan, mujhe pata hai something, because I still need to learn so many things from the people working for us, because they have different experiences and in their different fields, and they bring so many good ideas where Ananya and I might be sitting in a nutshell and thinking, but they will get something new, ke, ऐसा कुछ करते हैं, ऐसा. So listening to them and then implementing encourages them more that, okay, you know, they have not just listened to us, they have actually done, implemented the idea or the suggestion we gave. And you know, sometimes it's just important just to give the responsibility. Acha, theek hai, you think it's good, okay, fine, you take the call, you just do it. It's okay, you know, whatever is the expense or whatever the payment, whatever, you just take the call. If you think it's beneficial for the brand, for the company, okay, take the call. Sometimes you just need to leave the responsibilities on them, because that will make them do better, because you know that was their decision. So, you know, you should not be like, you know, they should not feel that, you know, I did something wrong or something like that. And if they, even if they do something, it's just an experience for everybody.
So Priyanshi, I've been knowing her since long, and she wears multiple hats. She is an entrepreneur. She is the head of book club Ahmedabad. She is into painting. She is into an NGO. What inspires you to do all this? Yeah, and give time to every initiative which you have.
So my personal aspiration is to touch and inspire 1 billion lives. So, you know, in this entire quest for excellence, with this burst of extreme energy that I have, I believe everything that I do inspires me as the people that I meet. It's like everyone becomes a guru in a different way because they teach me something about life or how to be. So the core inspiration is to do something much beyond, you know, my own self. That being committed to something larger than the self is the ultimate inspiration for me to keep going.
Yeah, great. Kanchi, you just got married. Yeah, congratulations. So now you will be having this question very apt to you. How you will balance your work and individual life?
It's definitely a little hard to balance, to have a work-life balance, but I think it's important to take care of yourself. Sometimes I feel like taking care of other people and other things, you forget to tend to yourself, and that really has an effect on your personal and work life. So I think it's important to, you know, take a weekend off when you need time, or just make some time for yourself, do what makes you happy, and it'll be good for you even in the workplace. So it's just, you just have to find some time.
Okay. Priyanshi, you've given more number of years into business. Any incident or failure you have faced? If we could have this opportunity to speak on that, those failures is more important than being successful, right?
Absolutely. I can't agree more. I believe that success just happens, but failures are what makes you. So in our journey, there have been multiple. I believe that the entire feeling of the Tirupati Viva olive oil was one of the largest learnings that we've got, on what basis we've formed the entire cold press oils, and we're seeing this growth now. So what happened was we were one of those first ones to start in this entire category, and as a brand we were more keen to offer a larger bouquet of oils and not just our signature cottonseed oil. So with that, when we began, we had massive education campaigns. We got a JV with one of the top and the oldest olive oil cooperative in Spain. So we'd done extensive research. We went everywhere. We did our complete homework. We knew that the per capita consumption of olive oil in the country is going to escalate over these years. So everything was right. But we were just a little ahead of our time. So that entire campaign, the way that we handled, to the way that we spoke about, our marketing was perfect. But the way that things went around with the distribution and the strategy with which the sales should have happened, it did not work out like that. Plus, what happened was, from 2012 till 2015, those were the 3 years that the Italian and the Spanish government both together put in more than $100 million in order to educate around the country what olive oil is, how to consume it. You all must have seen in malls and outside prominent places, there were hoardings of olive oil, not belonging to a brand, but they were talking about what olive oil is. So during that period, the entire thing happened. So as a company, one, we need more patience. Two, we needed more direction when we're starting something new, rather than having the arrogance of being the best in the industry. I believe at that time we could have gotten more consultants, more trainers who worked with more premium brands, and I believe if we would have taken their strategy, taken their understanding as well, we would have been at the moment one of the largest and probably the best quality of extra virgin olive oil right here. So these were 2-3 things that one, even though you're an expert, you have the largest share, you've got a brand that is, synonymous with trust or the industry segment. Yet, if you're doing something new, stay humble, reach out to people who know things better, take their understandings, take their wisdom and implement it rather than going purely with the old traditional ways how things work. So this was an exercise that, hugely humbled us and made me understand how to always reach out to experts and give them their fair share credit rather than knowing that I have so much experience and I know the best.
That was interesting. One of the last panels which we were having, one of the entrepreneurs confessed that he thought in his life he knew everything, and then he realized he didn't know anything. So he did a research like you were rightly saying. So he did that research and he confessed. That was a great thing that he was confessing the failure, saying that I didn't know anything and I thought I know everything. Right. So Kanchi, what about you? Any failures?
Definitely. I've always felt all out of place in business when I started my journey because I come from a dentist. I've studied dentistry, so I always felt like I was letting down, both career paths because then I studied dentistry. I didn't pursue my career in that, so somewhere I failed, and then I started my journey in business. I did a few courses online on business, and I just jumped in. And initially, I just felt like I'm just not cut out for this, or I'm not good at this. This is because it was all engineering, and I was not familiar with all the engineering terms. So that was a really difficult journey for me to learn a totally different subject after finishing graduating from a dental school and then studying basics of engineering and business and commerce, and then I felt like I was not put up for the job for like almost, I felt like a failure then, but when it comes to business, I feel like I just launched, so if any failures, they're about to come.
Great. So yes, Anushri, any thinking you have on your failures?
Failures, and I would treat it as a challenge also, that initially pitching your idea to people, or just make them talk about it, or even reaching out to your customers who would just try your product. You're not even asking them to buy, but just try as a sample. So those were the initial 2-3 months we faced, that we could see the problem right in front of us since years. It's not just scratching your ball was just like 2-3 years back people started. We see that happening in public place. So the problem was right there, but it's just the solution was not there. And coming up with the solution and then making people talk about it was a challenge for us. That problem unko bata di ke आपको you sweat, you have itching problem and whatever, they will agree. You give them the solution, they don't take it seriously, they laugh about it, that itne saal tak ke chala hi na, so now what's the need. So that perception, that mindset, it took time to change it. So that would be a challenge for us, and failure would have been that if I would have given up, that chodo, it's difficult. We just went with okay, we'll try. And
Great. So we come to audience questions. So you can raise your hands and name yourself and then ask the question. Yeah, please. Just a minute, come mic.
Yeah, so my question is to Priyanshi Patel that as you are involved in this production of cold pressed oil, so what is your USP which makes you stand out of the market?
So, again, the entire thing about being cold press oil is a USP in itself, because in the market currently there are mostly large refined oil players itself. So the fact that we are doing natural oils is by itself USP. But talking about distinguishing ourselves from the other players, one, we were one of the first companies to launch on such a scale. Talking about branding, it's like even in Khan Market in Delhi, we were the ones who went out and we were teaching the store guys what cold press oils is all about. So I believe the wealth of knowledge and the ability to foresee a trend and having the vision in terms of what the customer really needs and picking up that right nerve, I believe that is our USP, that we understand the world of oils much better than the rest of the players right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, please. So you're a student? Okay. Yeah, here. Front row.
My question is to Ms. Priyanshi. So throughout the talk, I saw your emphasis on on having an entrepreneurial mindset. So do you think it is cultivated or is it innate?
Mix of both. One, I believe everyone has an entrepreneurial mindset, but we do not focus on that. We look at problem solving in a very, very tiny way. We look at a problem and we think about just, okay, this is the best solution, let's apply it. But I believe being an entrepreneur or being a change maker gives you larger perspective in terms of you're much more conscious about what this little thing has an impact on the larger scale of, things. So I believe that it begins with your ability to think about problems. So problems are there everywhere. It's like each and every one of us deal with the same set of problems. But the reason why entrepreneurs, some of them are successful, some of them are super successful, some of them are legends, is not with anything else but their ability to perceive a problem and to get the solution in that way. So I believe that all of us has the best ability to look at problems and deal with it. It's just that we get stuck. Some of us, we start thinking of ourselves as victims, and some of us look at those as, that's an opportunity for me to excel.
Right. I have one last question for all three of you. How do you deal with misogyny and self-doubt?
Again, I think self-doubt you will have at at every stage when you are like growing, and even if when you are at the idea stage, and then at a growth stage, or you just starting, you will have a self-doubt every time, because you will just question yourself, am I doing the right thing, or is this the right way to do it, or am I with the right team, or it's just around yourself. But I think trying will make you understand better, because even once you go out in the market, you just try, you meet new set of people, and just learn from their experience also, because meeting other founders also make me that, okay, I was doing this wrong, and maybe taking their experience or maybe taking their suggestion helps me, because at some level they would have gone through the same problem which I am facing right now. Like at the age where my company is 2 years old, people who have their brand for good 5 or 10 years would relate to me that, okay, at the the initial stage of your brand, these were the challenges I was facing, while team building also, it's important. So you will still have the self-doubt, have you hired the right set of people? Then again you might have a self-doubt that, are you spending your money right? Have you taken the right investment from the right person, which will the person will actually help me mentor, or help me in other way, or he's just invested in my company, he's just gonna sit back, how he's gonna help me, or the investors. So these are the questions you will have at every stage. Even if you will at your company is at a 10-year-old, 10 years of that growth stage, you still have something that, what change you want to get, what new thing you want to launch with, and what other, your competitors are doing, what they are doing better than you, that, the sales or the comparison you keep on doing. So these are the points you will have, and you will self-doubt yourself.
I think I agree with her when it comes to self-doubt. You just have to keep trying because it's really scary when you are running your own business, because every decision you make is going to affect the business. So you just have to make sure you taking a calculated risk, and you just have to try and just hope for the best, and don't be afraid of making mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. People will yell maybe, but it's okay. You always learn a lesson from it. So don't shy away from making any mistakes. Don't shy away from speaking out if you don't understand anything. Just be there in the moment and just keep trying, just keep swimming.
Yeah. Yeah, the last row, yeah, there. We'll take 2 more questions, yeah. There. We'll come to you.
Hello, good evening. We are talking about failures somewhere. It happens with all entrepreneurs, employees, everyone else. When you are suffering from some of the failures, has it come across your mind that just to give up? And then how do you tackle that decision? Because all are listening that you didn't give up any time, but has it come across your mind just enough is enough? Just anybody can answer that.
So definitely, I believe failures is a very, very important part of the entire thing. But there are 2 different things. One is if failure is not digested enough, it's not looked at, crunched completely within. If you don't seep with it very deeply, you will not understand your failure. For example, if you don't look at it very deeply, there are fair chances for fake optimism to be there in terms of we can do it. And that fake optimism becomes the bed for you to again fall down. So failures are brilliant opportunities for you to understand better. But if you do not spend that time, energy, and that focus again, where did I exactly fail? Then if you fixed it, then you go ahead. If you've done the job right, then that means that it's not going to come in. There will be a new kind of failure that you will be received by the next day. But if the same kind of failure is coming again and again, that means you've not looked at the problem properly. And if you've not looked at the problem properly, you will fail again. So it's not the problem with the scenario or the situation or the product or the market reception. The problem is in your own understanding of what is the source of the problem. So too many times we do look at giving up. Even with our oils, definitely we gave up too early. But with our cold press oils as well, we were in a very, very critical situation wherein we had to think about wrapping up the brand by itself. And during that time, we understood the problem was not in terms of the category, but the problem was in our offerings in terms of the product range that we had. So the minute that we got the product range right, we're doing fantastic. So again, failures are brilliant, but what we don't do generally, any entrepreneur or company also, is that we don't invest enough in understanding the source of the failure.
Great. Yeah, you have some question, right? Yeah, please.
Okay. So it's okay if I don't get the mic. To be out loud, I would like to thank you all for this wonderful evening. Very much recently, I found myself sitting across the table with the 1% individuals. And I quickly started to see what's going around in town, what's happening. So I'm here today. I'm so sorry and this is very much out of my comfort zone as well, because the whole topic and subject is about she heroes of business. Yeah, so an individual like me to be present over here is a little odd. Again, I would like to say in quote that, for a lot of time, I came back to India in 2010, being abroad. But I was brought up being said that all Indians are my brothers and sisters. So I would kindly request you all to please give us men some time to prove ourselves. Okay? Other than that, my question. What would you do when some time is given to find the essence, and what would it translate to? Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a very philosophical question. Let's just take it offline, I believe. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, you have a question there? Yeah, please. Yeah, we'll have Mike there. Hello, Mike.
Thank you.
A quick one question, right?
Yeah, I'll make it quick. So we are talking about sheroes and heroes. Heroes would mean males, and sheroes obviously would mean females. So the key parameter that differentiates males and females would happen to be, correct me if I'm wrong, would happen to be probably emotions, right? Women are usually more emotional than men. So I wanted to ask you, like all of you being females on stage, except for Sanjay, how do you deal with emotions when it comes to taking important decisions in your business dealings with people? As I believe, as directors, CEOs, board members, you are required to take important decisions on a daily basis. And you are all females. So how do your emotions interfere with your ability to take decisions? Men are not that emotional. So we tend to take decisions every day like that. We may be wrong also, but our emotions don't interfere. You get the question?
Sure.
Yeah.
You're right. It's
I
like,
think
yeah. So women do have way more emotions and quicker emotional response than men. And I believe that becomes an exercise within and an ability to even transform that into a much larger experience of running things. I believe business is not just about product and very rational. I believe that's the left side of the brain. But businesses, the way that things work, is also way more on the right side of the brain, which we're talking more emotions, creativity, understanding. So the depth with which we feel emotions is the depth of creativity, innovation, understanding. And if the ability to understand and feel deeper is there, the ability to respond to things becomes much, much larger. So somewhere I believe that rather than having just a very rational way of thinking, which is a left-sided brain, I would not call it a female or a male's thing, but having a left-sided way of working.
You're referring to EQ and IQ.
Correct. So, like what you mean more is that women are more emotional. I would translate that as, they work more on the writer brain.
True.
Scenario. So I believe that being more inclined to that becomes a much stronger ability of a leader rather than just an employee. So I feel that having those emotions makes us much stronger leaders as we're more empathetic, as we can understand the other better, not just emotions of ourselves, but the emotions of the product, the emotions of the market. We're able to tap into it much deeper. So that's my understanding. I believe the others can also.
But somewhere, wouldn't that be a lacuna?
If you see the trends, I can send you some of the reports also that we've been referring to. Leadership in today's time is not going to be the left-sided brain of working, which is rational, very critical. It's going to be completely on the right-side brain. We're talking about innovation, we're talking about creativity, we're talking about real engagement. Curiosity is the new word. Trust is one of the barriers on which the world of and the leadership of tomorrow is going to be built. So we're also part of world's largest organization that teaches leadership, and we're entrepreneurial group. It's called EO and YPO. So all across there now, it's like to the bottom, we are taught not to think from the left brain side of it, but cultivate right brain side of the scenario, wherein women leaders have become very quick to pick up the new age world, like post 2020. This is going to be the new norm and not the left-sided brain. And you will see it happen in real life in the next few years to go.
So the trek from left to right.
For leadership, yes. So, of course, it takes a balance, and we're not talking about just pure creativity and innovation and curiosity. Of course, it will be balanced, but leadership per se is going to be tipped more towards the
Right.
the curious. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she covered most of it, but I feel like when taking business decisions or anything, I don't think women should be judged as, they're taking decisions emotionally, because I feel like as any other human being, if business decisions are being taken, they are being taken through logic and reasoning. So I don't think emotions come there for anyone in a boardroom meeting. I think it's more logic, reasoning and analysis.
So you prefer to be on the left?
It's not about left and right, it's about getting the job done rather than focusing on is it left brained or right brained.
Yeah, last
Any
minute,
thoughts?
Meet, you have some question, right?
I have one more question. Can I follow this up?
Let others also
Or
ask.
other,
Yeah,
yeah,
please.
okay.
Yeah, Meet, you can. We'll come back to you. Yeah.
Thank you. A good discussion we had, and a good three learning which I got is good energy like Ananya and Anushri, also Ananya I have met. Good settle like Priyanshi I would like to receive, and good experimental like a Kanchi. But a quick one word answer I want from all of you is, what would be one thing where you will invest yourself 5 years back if you have Olixir or Abzo or your brand? One learning 5 years back with the same brand, with the same thing, but एक चीज़ अगर आपको सीखने मिलती 5 साल पहले with the same energy, what would be it?
Yeah. The one word thing is difficult, but yeah, I'm going to try and put it in the least minimal words. I'd say the understanding of the variety of products that we have, that is one learning.
I think for me it will be engineering.
I think 5 years back I wouldn't have thought of starting Not Job itself, because if COVID didn't happen, the discussion wouldn't take place, because everybody was there, they were free minded, उस time पे. So I don't think Not Job germinate ही होता, and पता नहीं, I would have done the same thing which I was doing post COVID, pre COVID, sorry. Post COVID I was doing Not Job.
Great. So we wrap it up here. Yeah.
Yes, we do. I think it was such an insightful session, and the best part is that we were actually hearing it from the real life Sheroes. And thank you very much, Priyanshi, Anushri, and Kanchi. And I'm sure the audience had a great time too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you audience for being here.